Welcome to Thriving in Construction, the podcast. In this episode, we spotlight Jennifer Todd, a dynamic force reshaping the construction industry. As president of LMS General Contractors, Jennifer leads with distinction, pioneering full-scale demolition, disaster recovery, and remediation services. Her groundbreaking role as the youngest Black woman to hold California's general engineering license is just the beginning. Jennifer's story is one of ambition, breaking barriers, and setting new benchmarks in a field traditionally dominated by men. Jennifer's achievements extend beyond her business. She's a beacon of positive impact and innovation. She founded A Greener Tomorrow, and she champions skilled trades and construction careers. Her leadership is further recognized through accolades such as being featured on the cover of Construction Business Owners magazine. And she was selected as Outstanding Women in Construction finalist and a 2021 Engineering News Records Southeast Top Young Professional. This amazing episode delves into Jennifer's journey, from her strategic leadership at LMS to her philanthropic efforts and advocacy for diversity and inclusion in construction. Join us as we explore the challenges she's overcome, the milestones she's achieved, and her vision for a more inclusive and innovative industry. So, hello! Welcome to Season 6. Oh my Lord. Thank God we're here. I have a very, very special guest, Jennifer Todd, here. I never thought we were going to meet so quickly at the beginning of the year. So you're enhancing the 2024 for us. Your presence, it's a blessing. I'll take that. Yes, please, worthy, right? Yes. So we are worthy. And but I know how hard you work to create impact, to help other women, to help people that are underprivileged, people that didn't have the opportunities that you had, that I had. And if you read the book, the first page where my bio, that's exactly the phrase that it's used. Helping other people that didn't have our opportunities. So I just want to introduce this beautiful and amazing woman. She's very accomplished. She's not only an attorney, but she's also a civil engineer, and she's in construction, has a demolition company. So basically showing that everything is possible. And so please, can you speak to our audience and tell us a little bit more about it?
Absolutely. Well, I am so thrilled to be here with Patricia because this has been a long time in the making. So I agree. We're starting 2024 off right because we finally connected. And I think it's great that women in construction are able to support one another and empower one another to be better. Yes, and to bring forth more greatness. So I love it.
Well, so can you summarize 2023 for me? What was 2023 about for you? What in terms of impact? Not only for the world or the industry, but for you, for Janet.
For me, I will equate it to the term of the book. There's a famous line that says it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. And so I will stick by that. So that was my 2023. It was the best of times and it was the worst of times.
And that's interesting because to me, I had a similar experience. It had a lot of challenges that I had never experienced. So I wonder if this is in the consciousness. A lot of them made me grow tremendously, but I also found a lot of contrast. Mm-hmm. I think life is about contrast. Can we find not only the challenges, but also the blessing that we have at the same time? Can you speak a little more about that? What was the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge was my father passing away at 12. And that was challenging because I was his only child. And so that was a lot. But then also owning a business and running a construction company and being engulfed over the hardest projects that we had ever done. And so my client didn't care that my father was sick with days to live. They wanted the project done And so it was about trying to keep a brave face for my team, for my grandmother and my aunts as they embarked on the fact that their loved one was leaving the world, but also to kind of keep a brave face for my father as he realized that, hey, he was, breathing his last moments of life. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Your father, I'm pretty sure he was amazing. He was a man. So he was not without fault. Not a man as in gender. I mean a man as in, my relationship, our relationship was complicated, but I'm glad that we had the time that we had before he passed. And so there was no ill will or anything like that. It just, there were some things that I wish he'd done better, and I forgave them because as an adult, I realized that we're just doing the best that we can when we become a parent and things like that. And so yeah, there was absolutely no bad blood. I'm so glad that I could have been his honest salt. Yep. I think it needed to happen.
I'm glad you did because many times people don't. And I applaud you for the forgiveness side.
Yeah.
Because the forgiveness, a lot of times when we don't forgive, we blow ourselves from the abundance. I want to use that word.
Yeah. Because forgiveness, as they say, forgiveness is about you. It's not about the other person, whether they accept it or they give the apology. It's really for healing your own heart so that you can move forward.
So when you talk about your foundation, I know that's like a baby. It feels like a baby.
Oh yeah.
It feels like this is your part of your journey and your vision. Can you speak, because I was very fascinated with what you're doing, and we were talking before the podcast about your foundation, and I was thrilled. So can you speak more to that?
Yeah. So I started a nonprofit called Agree or Tomorrow. It's a 501c3. And initially it was an apprenticeship program that was geared toward both men and women that are traditionally underserved communities and helping them grow by providing a position in construction. So we do train and hire them and do demolition and asbestos. And it really took off. And we just didn't expect the results that we got. And so we have trained and hired people all across the country, and it's been great. And so this year, it really started last year for me because I really wanted to focus more on women. I have a large presence on LinkedIn, and I get so much feedback from women that are in leadership or desire to be in leadership, and they're just like, I'm so frustrated. I feel so alone. Like, what's going on? Like, how can I get better? What do I need to do? And so I thought it was really good to figure out what I wanted to see. Like, I want to go into this industry every single day, and I want to see women who look like me, as well as those who don't, doing the things that I've done and that I would have aspired to do. And so that's why we are starting a docuseries this year called Breaking Barriers. And I'm very thrilled to have so many companies interested in it, sponsoring it, and that are really looking to help us amplify the message and mission to support and retain women in construction.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. And it's incredible how the universe, God works. Because for a while, I've been in that's been my focus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, I have my company, but at the same time, I feel that we need to be contributing all the time.
Yeah.
We cannot expect until wait until you retire and you have all the time in the world and the situations are perfect to start giving back.
Yeah.
Because it's fulfilling to us all. And so we started a construction academy, and we have so many women also working. And you know what? My thing is, when you empower a woman, you change the world.
Yeah.
And this is why I wrote the book. Because women, and I've experienced this on myself, but I also see it in a lot of women. When a woman has a child, whatever happens, the father can disappear. She's not going to let the child die.
Yeah.
Uphold her.
Yeah.
So she'll do whatever it needs to happen. At the same time, when a woman is healed, she's empowered, she is educated, she has been finds herself worthy, what happens is everyone benefits.
Yes.
Everyone, the husband, the kids, and many times women don't realize, that it's available. All of it is available. In many times when we're talking about this, the woman takes on the role, not the role of the, but more like the assistant vice president or of the husband. Like, I don't even think the husband asks. We assume that we have to do this, and that's what's required. Mm-hmm. And forget about our own dreams.
Yes.
Which is not even required.
Yeah.
Right? But so I spoke to that, and I've met a lot of women have a breakthroughs. I can't believe that. I can do this, and I can do this. It's not this or that.
It's this and that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I think you make a great point when you talk about being married. I think I've been married for 12 years this year. And so I've learned some lessons along the way. But I will say that if you have a great spouse, that can catapult your career, that can take you to the next level. But I've also seen when you don't have a great partner who is supportive and they can bring you down. And that's just not women, that's people in general, because you want someone who is going to empower you to be your best, but also back up and let you be your best. It's like if I can't be my best if I'm at your beck and call, or I'm, fulfilling your dreams, then what about mine? So I think it's important that even if we lose ourselves along the way, that we're able to find our way back to center, to figure out and take a step back of what do I want to, who do I want to be, and how do I get there?
And a simple question: what makes you happy?
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't.
Most of the time, people don't know what
we
makes
live
them
life, and we don't know.
Most people don't know what makes them happy. They just know I'm not happy. Like, okay, I'm not happy. So what do I need to do? With that
actually, it's one of the questions in the book. So I'm very thrilled that you're going to read it.
Yes, I do.
And you're going to give me comments and feedback.
Yes, I do.
And let's discuss your business. Mm-hmm. You have a demolition company, and this business, you've been in business for over 10 years, right? Mm-hmm. And have about 10 employees. Mm-hmm. So what is that like? So from the moment you started to today, what are the few big challenges that you had to overcome as a contractor, as a demolition contractor? And how do you do it? How do you overcome them?
Well, it's kind of a twofold answer, because how did I get to going and doing the things? Well, part of what we talked about is about self-awareness and knowing who I am and what my capabilities are as an individual. Like, what am I good at? What are my strengths and weaknesses? But also finding people who are more competent, to more competent, experienced than I am. For me, I want everyone to be smarter than me, because then we can have the best solutions and we can get things done. And so what that looks like is hiring people who are sometimes twice my age. Well, not twice my age anymore, but when I started off, twice my age. Now they're like 1.5 sometimes. So, but they may be old enough to be my parents. So, when it's okay. But relying on that and not being intimidated by, a person's expertise or, years of experience, because everyone brings something about. The person who has 2 years of experience may be young and inexperienced, but they may have innovative ways to get things done. And so the person who has 30 plus years of experience, they understand the try true, what's fastest. And so I think I've been able to kind of merge the two, having younger people and older people on the team. We don't all work the same way, but we all work for the same goal. And
so the challenges, I guess, were related to what I'm hearing is you use, you hire smart people, you're competent people to overcome challenges of the day-to-day operations.
Yes.
And I think that there's something that you remember that it almost brought you.
Well, one of the main things I struggled with when I first started in business was delegation, or with reception. So I was down the joy to work with. Me too. Yes, I do. I even have to start. It's like I had, the ticket on spirit of no one can do it the way I can do it. No one can do it better than me. No one can do it faster than me. I have to show you that I can just do it myself. And that became a slippery slope because even if I could do it faster or quicker, it doesn't mean that I needed to be doing those things. And if I was doing those little mitzvah things that were important, but that were not adding to the big value, the dollar, then the company must, because I shouldn't be doing work. I shouldn't delegate it. I mean, just allowing them to do it the way that they want to do it, as long as the final product is what.
Absolutely. So before the podcast, we were talking about construction, and we have so much in common.
Yeah.
So much. And how it teaches construction can be, especially in the United States.
Yes. Yes.
And it actually, when I learned that you were in law, which is very respectful, I mean, I how much of an achiever you are. And it's commendable. I immediately knew that it was to protect yourself as a business or as a small business owner. Mm-hmm. I mean, I believe I've been in this industry 35 years. And this industry is so litigious that I believe you would practice law. So you really have to, you have to fail in the sense of we're failing all the time and recovering. But what I'm saying is you haven't lost your company, and you are making money. That means you are basically managing risk at a high level.
Yes.
And managing risk means you have to have a mindset of a training and have clear tennis. I'm not a trainer. But you really kind of have to think like one. You know what I mean? What were you thinking? Did you figure this out at the first 25% of your life as a business? In the middle? At the end?
Oh, no. Before I started Ellis General Contractors, I knew there was no way I was going to start a business without going to law school. Because I knew those things, having worked for another ready-for contractor, I saw the devastation that happened when it came to small and diverse businesses. I mean, we worked on projects on the Las Vegas CEO that said, we don't have anything to can't pay. And it's like, what do you mean? This is Las Vegas, the casino. We put all these people and get paper. I had seen, there are troubling things I've been involved in, with kids' racism and sexism, and I saw what it meant to be a small and diverse business. And so I knew that with people who didn't have protection, i.e. a lawyer, they didn't make it. Like you said, they failed, their businesses failed, and it wasn't because they are perfect. It was because they didn't have accurate representation, or they didn't understand the terms and clauses and responsibilities as part of their contract, or they didn't get that change order, signed. And that when you don't understand what you're signing up for, no one's going to protect you, like the general contractor or the owner. They are not afraid. And so I knew that although I loved construction didn't necessarily love me back. And so I had to protect myself.
Or the patterns that show up in a construction job site, even though it knows that. Because construction is not construction's fault. It's how it's orchestrated. Mm-hmm. And like you said, what I found out is that everyone's lack of accountability, everyone's lack of homework ends up being the contractor's fault.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's a push-down risk type of industry. Who can I point the finger at? Because it's not customer. If the owner does not do a good job at defining the scope of work and having the right amount of money for the job, somebody said, okay, and they still want to get it done. I have found that the more I dig into why it's business like this, because it is I think you described it really well. It's very painful. I believe even the politicians that see a project as a way of advertising the campaign, it's all driven by fear, right? So the politician wants the project because it's like Kentucky Stone. Yeah. They have a group of officials managing the process.
Yeah.
But the architects and engineers maybe didn't do the right job, or even from one program manager to another, and the homework wasn't completed, and then let's get the job done. But the organizations just don't have it right because the budget is not right. And guess who has to? And here's what I found. Everyone is telling the contractor, do the job, do it. I'm going to pay you later. I'm going to pay you later. The change.
Yeah.
And the contractor wants to please,
but you might keep the reputation or keep the relationship going.
Mm-hmm. And once the attorney, you can have no time to document, or you decide that you don't want to say, well, I'm sorry, but the contract says I cannot change your work without approval.
And they said, oh, just go ahead and do the work and we'll sign off on it later. Just go ahead and send me, I need a text message, I need an email, I need a written change order. I need something in writing that states that you're giving me permission to do this scope of work to this additional square footage for X amount of dollars. Yeah. Yeah, we need to get it crowded off on before we can touch. And we have situations like that where it's just that, oh, don't make such a big deal. If it's not a big deal, just sign off so we can get going. It's not, it's not a big deal. But I think that if you work first in how you approach it, then it'll be respected, even if, they ruffle some feathers that day. They sign it the next day and we'll keep moving. Yeah.
I really believe that straight AI industry, if people eat, is that they have a change. And I applaud you for what you're doing. I say I find a lot of synergies. Then education is key.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking later.
Yes.
Because I'm really interested in seeing how we collaborate. And I think collaboration is the next level.
Oh, I know it is.
Right? But now we're moving forward, working together. What do you think about it?
You sound like James Awards from Keynote. You're the keynote this morning for the National Association of Women in Construction. And I said, hey, look, women, we are not competitors. We are teammates. Because even if we did the same job, what you want for your like Patricia or Jennifer wants is something completely different. And we kind of mentioned earlier about what makes you happy, what do you want. Even if we are at the same starting mark today, what you want for your life is so much different than what I want. And so how can we possibly be competitors? Like, it would be better if we teamed up together so that we can build a little bit and then we both could achieve what we like. And it probably will be bigger and better than what we could have done.
Absolutely. It will be bigger.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. We're like, well, tell me about all these awards that you have and ENR, and tell me how do you get there? How do you feel? Tell us the story.
Well, I have a few notable achievements. I think one that I'm really proud of is being on the cover of Construction Business Owner magazine, and not because it's a cover feature, but because I was the first Black business owner, male or female, thing I ever had on their cover of the magazine in 20 years. And so I hold that very dearly to my heart because I understand the importance of representation. And when it came to engineered news record, I'm very proud of those achievements. A few years ago, I was awarded the top 25 newsmaker, as well as top 20 under 40 in the same year. And no one in Atlanta, one that has achieved that in their history of their publication. It's I still open titles for that as well. So, I like to go in and break a title. Yeah. So, and I'll even that, but I think just organically. I think if you to be an overnight success, it takes about 10 or 15 years. And so there are going to be so many years and so much time that's going to go by, but you are going to go unlimited. But if you stay the course, then people will begin to recognize the work that you do and respect it and show their appreciation.
And thank you for that, because I let you go back. It takes time. You have to have staying power for any investment to be very fruitful. There is no microwave to success. Even in today, yes, we have social media, we've got AI, we've got all of these different kind of technical aspects that we incorporate into our work systems, but the work is the work. Even if you want to be a YouTube creator, you got to show up every week. You got to keep videos, you got to keep editing, you have to keep going. And so a lot of the people that
people are excited about, and these top influencers or creators that these kids think, I'll just do that and I don't have to do the hard work. That's hard work to show up when you don't want to show up. I mean, hey, we're business owners. We have to show up no matter what happens. We still have to show up.
Absolutely.
And so the staying power is the boring work, because if your job is not boring, then you aren't doing it long enough, because it needs to be boring at some point, to the point that you have mastered your craft and that you understand what it is. Like, I can do my job with my eyes closed. Doesn't matter what the project is, because I mean, all projects are done the same way from start to finish. Doesn't matter who the owner is, the location, same thing.
But and I don't necessarily, and I hear what you're saying, and you're right. You need to when you master your craft, you can do it with your eyes closed. Mm-hmm. I think the passion behind it won't allow you to be boring. Mm-hmm. But when you master it, it creates more time for you to do other things like what you're doing. Yeah. Because that gives you fuel to keep going, and also to show up when things are not nice. Yep. Because sometimes, you don't even want to show up. Yep. I mean, but you do.
Yep. And I'll go back to the boring part. When I say boring, I don't mean your job is boring, but there's certain aspects of your job that are boring or that you don't really like or appreciate, but you still have to do that anyway. And so the boring part is discipline. The discipline to do the things that you don't want to do, so that you can do the things that you enjoy and like doing as well.
Very well said. Discipline your disappointments. No? Because sometimes we fail. There's disappointments, but if you start true to your course, you'll keep going. So, I want to go back to when you were talking about representation, because I've heard you in Instagram a few times, and I know I see this as a topic that's close to you. Mm-hmm. And that might be something that other people don't understand what that means, because maybe they can't relate. Yeah. But I'd like for you, if you could go deeper into when you say representation, why is that important?
Oh, absolutely. I think representation is important because when we speak specifically about the construction industry in the United States, 86% of the industry are white male. And so I am not white and I am not a male. And so if 87% of my time at work is spent looking at other people who don't look like me, then it begins to plague not just me, but other women, other minorities, because you need something. You need a visual representation to understand the roadmap that's ahead of you. When I talk about representation, I mean, hey, you need to see a Patricia to know that you can be a Patricia. Like, people they undervalue just the visual of seeing something. If you're saying that people are successful in construction and you're only showing white men, then I'm going to automatically assume, most people will assume that that's not for me, that I can't do that, or I can't own a construction company because I've never seen it. And so we have to normalize what it looks like and what women in construction look like, but also what minorities look like. More so today than ever, because we have a labor shortage. And so we have a labor shortage of over nearly 1 million people today. And that's a lot, but it shouldn't be, because we had a population of nearly 400 million people. And I'll break down the numbers for you. When we talk about women in the population in this country, we account for 50.5% of the industry. So women are the majority. When we talk about minorities, the people who look like us in this room, we are 49% of the U.S. And so if I go into work and I don't see a woman or a minority, which is 50% of the population, then that is a problem. And it's through that lack of diversity that we now have that labor shortage. And so it's not about a feel good or do right thing. It's not about politics or any of that stuff. It's a numbers game. And so if we are talking about numbers, the reality is that we don't have enough white men in this country to substantiate this problem. So therefore, we need more women and we need more minorities to enter this industry and stay. And so we need to see them represented not just as workers, but as leaders as well.
Yep. And not as second-class citizens.
We're third.
Sometimes neighbors, and what happens in the field, and it has to change.
Yep.
Because why that I believe is one of the reasons why the construction has been rated, along with mining, as second highest in suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's a huge opportunity to make it better, our industry. And I love the fact that we are on the same wavelength, and that we can do something better. And that makes me very excited. What can we do?
Yeah.
And there's a lot that we all can do. And you and I are going to be talking.
I'm glad you brought up the suicide, because people just kind of harness into the diversity, equity, inclusion component. But the fact that we have the fourth largest suicide rate in the construction industry says, and this is across industries as a whole, the construction industry is number 4 when it comes to suicide. And if almost 90% of our industry are white men, what does that say about the workplace culture for Avatar? It's saying that white men aren't happy. It's saying that women aren't happy. It's saying that minorities are not happy. And that says that we have a culture of bullying. Mean girls and mean guys that are, on these projects, that are making people miserable, that are not, being people focused in this big project of this. And so we have to change the way that we treat. We engage collectively. We have to change the workplace culture, not just for women and minorities, but for everyone.
Where do you think, to me, the world's changing dramatically? It's almost like the Industrial Revolution. It's not a 10, 20. The history books are going to say this happened, different world. We know about AI. Mm-hmm. We know about robotics. Mm-hmm. How do you see the construction industry changing? And how do you think it will impact that issue that we have to help the underprivileged or help women, people that don't know a lot? What do you think? What are the opportunities, the challenges? How do you see it?
Technology is a different animal, and it's not my forte. But what I can say is that I do see, when it comes to build 3D models, 5D models, I see that being more advanced. But also, I think the technology aspect I pay attention to more so is social media aspect, in how companies on the market and doing the outreach to get more people into the industry. I speak a lot about marketing, because when I think, hey, how are you doing the outreach to the kids? Are you on TikTok? Are you on YouTube? Are you on Snapchat? Sharing it in the light, sharing what we do, how much we make, what our job entails, when you lead, what types of certifications that you need. So I think from a technology standpoint, social media, I think, will become more robust and can help heal. Technology-wise, I'm sure I have no idea where it's moving very fast. What do you think about the technology aspect?
Well, I believe robotics, it's having a lot of push because of the labor shortage and how it changed after COVID. There's a lot of money behind robotics.
Yeah.
Because in the industry, there's plenty of work.
Yeah.
And not enough people to get it done. So people need to be aware that it's going to change considerably. I've seen a lot of problems. I also believe companies need to prepare for AI. I have a friend here at Diamantes that says there's going to be 2 types of companies moving forward. Those that use AI and those that don't exist. And so I believe this is time for us to prostrate, become uncomfortable on purpose, not wait until we get this wrong.
Yeah.
My thing every day, how do I anticipate what I don't see?
Yeah. The one thing I will say is, when it comes to AI, I don't think that we should have a fear for our industry, because at this point, we're in the negative when it comes to people. And so we haven't even addressed the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that it's already on the table and in action. Right? We don't have the workforce infrastructure to do the infrastructure work. And even when we get into it and start really doing the work, it's estimated that we're still going to need another 70 million people in the next 10 years to do the work. And so I know that there's this fear that AI is going to oust everyone without a job. But I want to say, when it comes to the construction industry, we're pretty insulated because we still need people. Will it make things faster? Yes. Some jobs diminish? Yes. But the people in the field and that are working on these products and highways and job sites that you see across the country will still be needed.
So, not fear. I think that technology does not have to be fear at all.
It doesn't, but a lot of people do, and there's a lot of...
My hope is that when they listen to this, they're going to hear that it's to be not fearful, but to take action.
Embrace it. Yes, embrace it.
Now, I have a different perspective. I would not be like, it's not going to face me. Because there's certain traits that, yes, it's going to be very difficult, but AI, there's a lot of money in machine learning. And the administrative work, Jennifer, there's records and proof that even attorneys will suffer already.
Yes and no.
So let me finish.
That information is not that certain.
But let me finish. We're not talking today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about
10 years, 20 years.
I think, no, a lot less than 25. 5 to 10 years. But if you control the process from A to Z, as an accountant, as an attorney, let's say, and at least you were reviewing a contract, and you had not the attorney, maybe the one that has a license, but maybe you had an assistant, they were reading those hours. But if AI now can review it and give you certain points, that's less work that you are doing.
Yes.
In the same way that you used to make money. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So you are an instructor. Instead of collecting these number of hours for the same type of work that I've been doing for 100 years, now I'm collecting for less. So the mindset that I want to have is not that I'm not sleeping because this is happening. I'm saying, what do I need to learn? How do I need to prepare? How do I make sure my team grows so that they don't feel fear? They know that they're growing and they can adapt. Before we showed up,
yeah,
we were not prepared. I mean, thank God, we weren't prepared, but we didn't suffer 1 hour of business yet. Because we do federal work. We have to be available, right? Remember when you said I don't know if it's in the interview, but you said something. Oh, with your father.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. A contract doesn't care if you have a personal issue.
Nope.
They don't care if you have an issue with your kids. They don't care if there's COVID. As hard as it looks like, that's how it is. We have to be prepared, especially with small business.
I mean, well, for me, it was the opposite. When COVID took place, it almost took me out and the company out, because the first deal was we had to get our hands on any suits. And so we do hazmat work. And so it's like, how can we do hazmat look at everyone strict taking all time at suits? We even had a shipment that was confiscated twice by the government. And so we were really struggling. We had someone in stock with not enough to sustain us indefinitely. So it's just like we just don't even run that kind of operation. We're just going to have a warehouse full of stuff. That's just not.
You should have made a lot of ideas.
Okay. So we did okay. We figured it out that there was a pivot. And so we started doing like celebrate cleaning and things like that. And that was the pivot that we did for a couple of federal agencies. And so, but also what happened during the height of COVID was that I became sick. And so I was ill. And it was about literally a life or death. And so, yeah. Absolutely.
Wow.
And it really changed the trajectory of my life for the better. And I can't say for the worse because I'm still here, but it changed my life forever.
How did it change it?
How
did it change your life, and how did it change the way you run your business now?
Well, it changed my life because I had just came back from Los Angeles and I had shot the game show. I can't even think of the name of the game show. What's the name of the game show? I think you gotta figure this out. Let me think. What was I on?
What game show? What is a game show?
The Weakest Link. Okay. So it changed my life because I had just flown back from LA. I was on a game show called The Weakest Link with Jay Lynch. It was not the weakest link. Didn't win because I'm still here in construction. So I did not win.
I'm going to have to check that out.
I'll send you the information so you can see it. So, but I just came back, but I knew I had felt sick. And I told my husband, I just don't feel well. And I looked in the mirror, I was 100 pounds and my bones were like protruding out and I was combing my hair and it was falling out in patches. And so I went to I went to like the Minute Clinic at Target and she drew my blood and said, hey, you got to go to the emergency room right now. I said, well, what is going on? It's just your glucose levels are like 486. The low level is under 100. You got to go to the emergency room. I said, can't I just go to the urgent care? She said, no. So in the middle of the pandemic, I'm going to the emergency room. They look at the chart and just sweeping caps everyone. And I was like, well, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign.
But you didn't, you
I knew that something was wrong.
but it didn't feel like that bad.
Oh, it felt bad, but I just kept giving myself to others. I was on a project. I had, people to take care of, and I have a team, in life, and I'm doing speaking engagements and just doing all the things to satisfy other people. And when I got there, they told me I was a medical marvel because if I had not come in, the Rams would have woke up and I would have been gone. And he said, you would have died in your sleep because your levels are so high. We don't even understand how you're still sick. How did you even walk in here? It was that bad. And so it was at that point I was diagnosed as type 1 diabetic. And for those who don't know, it's type 2 is most people are familiar with, and that's more of a lifestyle thing, changing what you eat and, diet and things like that. But for me, it was my pancreas stopped working and there was nothing that could be done. And so as a person who has a dreadful fear of needles, to hear that you have to give yourself insulin for the rest of your life was just like, what? And so that literally, I spent a week in the hospital alone because of COVID. No one could come, in a couple of hours. My husband and my sister. And so I just said, God, look, if you get me out of this hospital bed, I promise that I'm going to live my life authentically. Because if I am going to die asking, let me see the payroll, and those are my last words, I am in trouble. And so that's how COVID changed my life. And how it changed my business was that I understood the value of relationships because we could have lost our boat. And we could have lost a lot of projects, but it was through those good relationships with my surety and with the contractors that I work with that I was able to communicate, hey, this is what's going on with me. I'm not okay. What can we do? And, I was down for months. It wasn't like a spring back up. Like, even though I walked into the hospital, I came out of the hospital in a wheelchair because I was just so weak. And just finally, everything hit me. Wow. The brain fog and my hair falling down and 100 pounds and I couldn't think. And it was just like, and then, this team of doctors are coming in with all of these things throwing at you. I was just like, what did I do to deserve this? Why me? And I remember talking to my grandfather and I was crying and venting about it. I'm like, this is supposed to be for people who this runs in people's families. It's not even hereditary. My dad doesn't have it. The mom doesn't have it. No one has diabetes. Like, why me? And my grandfather, who just recently passed, actually, too, he was really quiet and he said, why not you? And I said, you know what? You're right. I don't want to hear that right now, but why not? He said, what makes you so special? Why not you? I said, I don't know. I don't know. And I was bad with him for a couple of days, but of course I got over it. But he was right. And I said, hey, I've been able to withstand everything else. If nothing else, I'm resilient. And obviously, I have this disease because God obviously figured that I could handle it. So I've been handling it for the past couple of years.
You definitely are a singer and an overcomer of challenges and one that likes to raise your standards.
Yes.
And so what I have learned though is that these challenges that come our way that we don't explain, that they cause a lot of suffering, or the way we see the challenge causes suffering, it always comes with a blessing.
Yes.
And after the overcoming, then there is this light, and you recognize that life happens for you, that you're guided, and that if it had not happened, then you wouldn't be here.
Doesn't happen to you. That's for you. And it did. And it really was the push that I needed to say that if I'm going to live and continue to live my life, I need to live my life and do the things that I want to do. And so that's why I am more out and more vocal and, doing more keynotes. And I've spoken to 3 countries, not 3 countries, 3 continents. I've spoken to 3 continents and, pushing forth a greener tomorrow and the mission to empower women to be purposeful with their lives and their careers.
And so you decided that you wanted to be more of who you are and what you wanted to do. And you wanted to speak more. How do you get to be in the 3 continents and be speaking all the time? How does that happen?
Time management and a good team. So a lot of preparation. I know looks like a one-woman show, but it is not. I'm very thankful. I have a supportive spouse and family and a supportive employees who I have thankfully trained well enough that I don't have to be there every single day. Again, hiring people that are smarter than me, that can manage the ship. And so I'm still actively involved in my construction business, but I'm at a point now where I can afford to do other things that bring me joy as well.
That you have recovered some of that time.
Yes.
That you couldn't have if you were not delegating.
No.
And so I'm curious, when you got into the hospital, so unfortunate that it was abroad. It was happening, but you couldn't see it and were not aware or tuned with yourself because you were getting. It happens a lot weird, by the way. Were you able to realize also that not only that you had really good relationships, but also that you had a great team?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I knew that I had a great team before that, but that had to put the cherry on it because I was actually a little surprised at how forgiving and supportive the people were in health and serve. I was like, oh, wow, you guys really like me. They really like me. So I noticed it's like, oh my gosh, like these people are, out there. And it was on a Friday. So when the doctors came in and they was like, look, we're running the test, but it looks like it's type 1 diabetes. And I was just like, well, I'll just take some, I'll stop eating this and that. I'll stop eating Twizzlers. And they're like, no, this is much more serious. And it's like, you have to be a serious advocate for your own health to help yourself. But, I was very happy and very blessed to have people that were like, it's okay. We got it. Dylan Rush, I'll call her every day. What's going on over there? What are they doing? Okay, you go. CC for her. Hey, we got it under control. Just take care of yourself.
And I think it was maybe had you not had this wake-up call, you would have spent the rest of your life without fulfilling the mission, that you're focusing on the mission and giving it time and you thinking about what is that makes me happy? What do I want to do? And so it's all a blessing. At the end of the day, it's all a blessing. I am so happy to be here with you, that I met you personally.
Yes.
I'm very, very happy that we can get together.
Yes.
How can you impact in this world? So I have one more question.
All right, let's hear it.
It's February 2024. But now I want you to project to February 2025.
Yes.
And you are feeling amazing and you feel that life has been incredible. You have accomplished so much. You feel so happy. You like it. You impacted someone. What has happened? Tell me what needs to happen for you to feel over the top next year?
Over the top would be breaking barriers, every woman in construction, all 1 billion plus women in construction. Absolutely. That would make me over the moon. Sad. Everyone that loves the docuseries Breaking Barriers, Not a Greater to Rock with that. That would resonate with that people want to see in this industry, that people want to come in this industry just off of that docuseries and just seeing it and say, okay, I have some questions. Okay, I'm interested. like, sign me up. So that would make me, that's for a year from now, or whatever. I would say it. I don't know if it'll reach, if it will reach 1 million women, but it's definitely reach a million.
Well, we probably can unite forces and make a big, because you know what you have found, I have found, we have alignment.
Yes.
In a lot of things. So collaboration is key, as we discussed, and it's important. We can scale faster together and impact more and have more fun.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have it fun. You know,
see it out there. I've seen you dance. I've seen you dance. I know you're eager about a big time.
So much happy to see you here. What blessing, what joy. I bless you, and I ask God to continue to guide you not protect you, give you more help, more love, more abundance. Yes, all the fullness of that. I received all of that and extended back to you, Trisha. And thank you for having me on your show. Thank you for sharing the platform with me, and we continue success in all that you do. And I am going to read the book, and after I read the book, I will let you know. Yeah, we can have that. Second part. The book.
I'll have to post the book.
Yeah, all these women in construction, we're gonna. It's gonna be a beautiful journey. It's gonna be a beautiful journey. And there's gonna be a success with that show, and you got it. I'm proud of it.
I'm proud of you too, and thank you for sticking in for the compliment all year.
Yeah, and hey, I'm not going anywhere.
You better not be.
Longevity, darling.
Longevity. I hear it. Thank you so much. I love it.
Let's go.